Welcome to Unveiled, the HPD podcast where we dive into the world of policing. I'm your host today, Lieutenant Ashley Jenrette, and I am joined by Sergeant Birdsong with the Hampton Police Division's Community Engagement Unit, Ms. Rebecca with Elizabeth Lakes Neighborhood, and Ms. Simone with Riverdale Neighborhood. So today we just want to talk about our Neighborhood Watch program in the city of Hampton, what that partnership looks like with our neighborhoods and between the police department. So I'll actually start with Sergeant Birdsong. I'm sorry. If you could just give us an idea of what the Neighborhood Watch program is and what our involvement is in that.
So we actually, in the Community Engagement Unit, we attend all the Neighborhood Watch groups throughout the city. And while we attend those meetings, we give the residents a real hard look of the raw data, crime data that comes out of their neighborhood. So we use a lot of programs, but one program I use specifically is LexisNexis, where I get to draw a border around the neighborhood and I can get every call for service that comes out of that neighborhood. And then I take that information and I share those calls with the residents. Can't go too much into detail of the calls, but I actually let the residents know what truly comes out of their neighborhood.
Okay. And if you guys don't mind telling us, when he comes and brings in that data, how does that help you decide what you're going to do within your neighborhood for the year or to combat whatever is happening within that neighborhood?
It helps, it gives us data to back up what I already talk about with our neighbors. Because sometimes if I say something, they say that it's, oh, that's very nice, but to have data come directly from Sergeant Birdsong or, and sometimes the chief will even show up, packs a real punch, and they start to really pay attention and understand what really goes on, because sometimes rumors can lead to things and people will say certain things are happening, but then we pull up the map that people can log on to and we can see what's really going on, and actually makes a lot of the residents feel much better and much safer when they see, wow, where we live is really pretty good.
Okay.
Yes, and I agree. I think having that factual data helps. It helps show why we're having the neighborhood watch, so we can see that there are issues that are going on that we may not have known about because we may not be, they may not make the news. So we know, okay, we need to lock our car doors. We need to remind our older neighbors to, make sure your car doors are locked, your house doors are locked, just be more vigilant about what's going on in your community.
And a lot to follow up on that. Getting people to lock their car doors, it takes a split second. And I believe, Sergeant Birdsong, you said one of the things that can be frustrating is that a lot of people will still keep firearms in their cars, and that's how they get out in the street.
Yes.
And so something as simple as locking that can not just protect other things that we own, but can protect the community as a whole, because those guns shouldn't be out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. I actually like the fact that that you guys are involved in the Neighborhood Watch program. We do know that it's an older program. It's been around for some time, and through the years we know that it has died out. But again, that togetherness within the neighborhood helps deter a lot of crime, I would assume. Can you guys speak on how that helps actually deter crime or keep it out of your neighborhood, just bringing the neighbors together and doing smaller things? They don't have to be major.
Yes, I will just say that having that tight-knit community is important, because there's always something going on. So if more than one person see the same thing, then someone might need to, maybe just go reach out to the neighbor and make sure everything's going on. It could be, they have a travel job and maybe someone's watching their house, but just knowing what's going on and having that tight-knit community is really important. And then having that data, like we just said, it's like a reason, because people think, oh, everything's going fine, there's nothing going on in my neighborhood, but sometimes it is, even in the best neighborhoods. So I think that is one of the reasons why it's important to be aware of what's going on. So even if you're not on a neighborhood watch, you can look up that data or just pay attention so you can share it with your neighbors and start your own neighborhood watch.
And I like what you said about it doesn't have to be some big, huge event, which can be overwhelming for people to plan. We have monthly socials. Okay. And sometimes we get 15 or 20, and when it's nicer and we can have them outside, we'll get 40, 50, 60, and we can welcome new people so we recognize them and they feel more comfortable reaching out to us if something does happen. And so that familiarity both ways of new residents coming in where they will feel welcome and maybe more likely to share if they see something that isn't right is very helpful. And we also encourage all the neighbors, new and ones that we recognize, to be, and I believe Sergeant Birdsong said that we're their eyes and ears because you all can't be everywhere every minute.
Right.
And I tell them, I said, they tell us to let them know that we're not bothering them because what happens in our neighborhood might connect to your neighborhood or one somewhere else, and they can start connecting the dots, and that can be really helpful.
Yes, I also heard that helps reduce time in solving issues because they can see what's going on more. So knowing the channels of communication, you know, you can call the non-emergency police number, or if it is an emergency, of course, calling that in. But more importantly, just saying, hey, did you hear that last night? You know, did you see someone doing this or that? Or I had trash in my yard, or I think someone went through my car. Can you look at your cameras? It really goes a long way. And also, if you have like a neighborhood Facebook page, I think that has been really essential with just getting information out, not, you know, taking pictures of people or, you know, but just being vigilant. Hey, I see people walking through their neighborhood at night. Let's keep an eye out. You know, you can look outside your window and just take a peek, see what's going on.
Right.
And if 10 people do that, you might not see anything, but you might help someone that, you know, got their window busted out. You know, I don't want to be negative, but, you know, things like that happen.
Right,
So
absolutely.
true. I know Sergeant Birdsong is over there being a man of few words right now.
Sorry.
But, could you tell us, with you pulling crime stats, do you tend to see the benefit of having a neighborhood watch when it comes to crime within certain areas versus neighborhoods that do not participate in the program?
Yes, because it actually gives the neighbors a more awareness about what's going on in their neighborhood. I mean, the whole basis of the program is that you're just the eyes and ears of the police department, and it's actually bringing neighbors together, because we've been at previous neighborhood watch groups where other residents have been invited from the same community, and they live catty corner across the street from each other, and it's been that way for years, and they have no idea who they are. It's just a casual way of taking your trash can out while you're pulling your car out of the driveway, but they don't know each other's names.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do, is build a tighter knit community for neighbors to come together for one purpose.
Right.
Do you guys mind telling us some of the events that you have coming up, or some of the events you've done in the past within your neighborhoods?
In August, I think it's the first Tuesday, is National Night Out. And so a lot of neighborhoods have community events. I think it's the first Tuesday. We found that Tuesdays people were still busy, so we have it either the weekend before or the weekend after, just for people to recognize each other. And it doesn't have to be super fancy. It can be, if you feed them, they will come, you know. If there's
we love food, don't
or
we?
ice cream.
We do.
And during that time of year, I know do you guys have a pool?
Yes, we do.
If we have it at the pool, that automatically draws people. So we do that, and we have our monthly socials, and people take turns hosting it at their house. So they welcome people into their home, and in the summer we like to have it at the pool. So there's more room, and we're working on a few other things too as well.
Oh, well, I see they're really busy. The thing I like best about the neighborhood watch and groups like this is we can tailor it to what meets our neighbors' needs and what meets the board's needs, you know, their availability. One of the things that we like to do is have an ice cream social in the summertime at a local church. And more recently, we had like a community meeting. Sometimes we do things like that aren't as fun, but they're equally as important. And Sergeant Birdsong came out and raffled off a Ring camera. So that was really...
It was all for the ice cream.
It was really, you know, helpful because one, he's there, the police chief comes as well, or other officers, and it's like they're here, they're right here in our neighborhood, they're not too busy, they're helping us, you know, the neighbors can tell them all of these concerns, you know, people, just all of this stuff, they want to talk to him. So it's really resourceful, and we invite him to all of our events. Our biggest event is usually in the summertime. We have a big community event with Cornerstone Church, which is in the back of our neighborhood. It was called Live Well Riverdale. So we just had a wellness event about mental health wellness, physical wellness, just all around wellness, and just having a police chief there talking to neighbors, it really helps just bridge that gap and close the, oh my God, it's the police type thing. So overall, we have a lot of different events. We just kind of tailor it different to see what works best for our neighbors. If it's an older community, sometimes they don't want to do all of the things that the younger kids want to do. So we try to find a balance.
Okay.
And I'm lucky enough that the social committee in our community, or in our neighborhood, so those monthly socials aren't necessarily for Neighborhood Watch, but the social committee does a great job at organizing those, and that in turn increases awareness
Yes.
of that. Something else that I try to do, and I imagine you probably do the same thing, is just almost like an ounce of prevention, especially, I mean, in the winter, but also in the summer when people are traveling. In our newsletter, and I have an email blast list that I'll send this to, of these are some basic things you can do to protect your home and to be safe, whether you're traveling or just out for the day. I mean, something as simple as locking your doors, and making sure that your mail and the newspaper is stopped. And to touch on what he said, if you know a neighbor, you can always say, hey, I'm going to be away for this weekend. Could you keep an eye on things? Something as simple as that can be really helpful. And the other thing is, don't advertise your vacation while you're away on Facebook saying, oh, I'm here in Jamaica. It's like,
Yes,
my house is empty. My house is empty.
Yes.
So it's, and at those socials, we'll sometimes have flyers there, but at the big event like the one you have, I love that idea of health issues. That's a really good idea. I might steal that from you if I may.
Go ahead, you can have it.
But yeah, just anything that can bring people together is great.
We absolutely appreciate it in the police department. I can tell you, we do try to get our messaging out there, but it does help when you can come together in smaller groups of people that you know, and just share that information and that messaging that we are trying to push out. Again, I do think it definitely benefits in deterring crime throughout the city. So, Sergeant Birdsong, if a neighborhood wanted to get involved in a neighborhood watch or get one started, what would the steps look like? What would that process look like?
Well, first of all, you can call our office at 757-727-2260. Give us your name, your address, and we'll actually look it up, find out if there's an actual neighborhood watch group in your neighborhood. If there is, we'll get you connected with that coordinator. If you do not have one, we'll get the ball rolling. Basically, it just takes one coordinator and up to about 4 block captains. We come out, we give you the PowerPoint presentation of what it involves. It's absolutely free. I want to get that across. It's 100% free. And I even brought one of the signs out with me today that once you become an actual neighborhood watch group, we get with the city, and the city will go out and hang the signs into your neighborhood to let all that know that come in that you actually have a neighborhood watch group in your area.
As we get ready to wrap up, I just want to know, is there anything else that you guys want to say in reference to Neighborhood Watch or your partnership with the police department before we wrap it up?
And something that she said is that when police officers like Sergeant Birdsong, and the chief has shown up fairly regularly. The first time he came, I was like, oh, the police chief. But you start to realize that they're people just like you. And instead of this sort of line between the police and the people, it's like they're part of us. And when you hear the community policing, that's the connection that I think people are looking for. And I said, yeah, it's there. Come to some of our events and you'll meet these people, and they're great, and they want what's best for all of us.
And I just wanted to add that the beauty in this is that you can truly help somebody, not just with preventing crime. Of course, that's the main goal, but with your older neighbors, if you're truly looking and seeing, you know your neighbors' habits, they walk the dog at a certain time, you don't see them for a while, something may be wrong. They may not have family, but then they have you, their neighbors, looking out for them. So that's one of the reasons why I really like this.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yep, it's a good program. It's got tremendous benefits for the community and actually for the neighborhood itself. And when we actually go out, we actually tell the residents of that community about upcoming events within the city, everything that we have going on here at the police division. We also illustrate or give them PowerPoint presentations on personal safety, fraud. That is very huge among the senior community. So I love doing it. Love going out, talking to the neighbors and building that rapport with them. And it makes a better community when you can get the neighbors together to live as one, and let the police know what's going on in your neighborhood. And everybody can call the police department, whether it's the 911 or non-emergency, and remain 100% anonymous.
Yes.
100% anonymous. So a lot of people are like, well, I didn't call because I didn't want to get involved. You can call and remain 100% anonymous. I guarantee it. So, and just let us know what's going on out there. Plus the neighborhood, a lot of the groups call me and Officer Brown periodically about, hey, we heard this happen last night. And usually I can go right to the crime data or go to the calls for service that happened all last night and say yay or nay whether it happened or not. And if it did happen, I can give them particular details on what happened. Not all the details, but it's a powerful program. And I encourage everyone to let us know if they want a neighborhood watch group, because we're ready to go.
Yep.
I agree. Well, I thank you, Sergeant Birdsong, for continuing your work within the communities and keeping the Neighborhood Watch program going. And thank you, ladies, for joining us. We definitely appreciate you out there volunteering your time, committing yourself to the city of Hampton by acting as Neighborhood Watch coordinators. If you're
Absolutely.
interested in participating in a Neighborhood Watch or getting one going, please make sure you go visit our website at www.hampton.gov/police or give a call to our community engagement unit with Sergeant Birdsong. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for Unveiled, a podcast highlighting the extraordinary men and women of the Hampton Police Division. To learn more, check us out on our social media and at hampton.gov/police.